Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how I converted this flatbed into a rollback flatbed on the Arktos 6x6 by Hobby Plus. So anybody can do it, just a few modifications. You need 4 holes here and a little bit of a trimming on the bed, this little cut right here. And that's pretty much it for modifying the truck itself. So now, I'm going to show you a list of all the parts you're going to need. First off, you're going to need to print these parts. This part is separated, so I glue it after. And then there's this slider that goes in there. And basically, this gets taped here so it can roll back. Okay, and then there's also these 2 brackets here. They are going to hold the cylinder, the actuator. They're going to hold it right here. So these, you can see the holes right there, those 2 holes. They're going to bolt in this, and the reason it has the holes are long like this is for adjustment. You can adjust it at the end to make it sit perfect. These are the parts you're going to buy. N20 geared screw, 500 RPM, 12 volt. This adapter, 3mm on one side, 4mm on the other side. This actuator, 25mm stroke, 12 volt, 4mm per second, 120 newtons. These 3 parts are all on Amazon. And this pin, it's a 4mm thick, 1 hole on each end with cutter pins. It's gonna hold the actuator in place. This I didn't get on Amazon, but you can probably get some kind of pin and cut it the right length. And the lead screw, it's a T4, so 4mm thick, with a 1mm pitch and 2mm lead. Also, you can buy this box of metric screws. Now, to build this, first thing, you're gonna need to remove the bed. It's held in place by I think 10 brackets on 5 on each side. I think it's 5 on each side, or maybe there's 12. So whatever, you remove those brackets. You cut the wire for the lights. Don't bother removing each light, just cut the wire to the end. And also for the winch, cut the wire of the winch and remove this. Put this aside, and you're gonna put 3M tape, double-sided tape. I use this. It's a little bit thicker, as you can see, but it doesn't matter. You just stick it like flush, very flush, and the rest you cut it with an X-Acto like this. So make it nice, straight. Okay, and don't remove the other side right now. You don't want to damage the tape. There's a big hole right here. Oh yeah, this is important. The sway bar of the center diff, there's a sway bar. You remove the sway bar. Okay, that's the only downside of this build. You're not gonna be able to use the center sway bar. But honestly, I've used it a lot in all the conditions, and with the sway bar in the back, it's way good enough. Of course, some people would like to have sway bars in the center too, but I've loaded stuff on the truck. I've tested everything, and it's very stable, so I wouldn't worry about that. But on top of this big hole here. There's a little hole right there. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna take a screw. It's a M2 screw, so 2mm thick. You put it in there, okay, and you screw it in this hole. Now this hole here is already threaded because it used to have a bolt that held the bracket for the bed, but now it's not there. Just like this, not so tight. Okay, now to make this work, you're gonna have to remove the shock too, because it's gonna be in the way. Once you screwed it there, barely tight, don't have to be tight, you push this down like this. You make sure it's against the frame, so you can see here this stopper makes it stop exactly where you need to make the holes. Now the holes on my frame are already made. I undid this just to show you, but me it's already done. Now you're gonna take a drill bit that fits perfectly in these holes, and you're gonna drill through the frame. Make 2 holes, and you push gently. This is aluminum, so it's easy to drill through. Don't push hard, just go gently, and make sure to go straight to not mess up the holes. It's a quite easy process, just take your time. And then when this is done, you can remove this. Okay, put this aside, and you have the other one for the other side, like this. So same process, but me it's already done. So I'm gonna put this aside like this. Now, next, you're gonna put these brackets, okay? These 2 brackets and the holes that you just did. So I'm gonna take M2 screws. They are 12mm long. To the frame, to the bracket. Just like this. Okay, so you see, now I'm going to put washers, tiny washers, and nuts. I really suggest you buy an electric screwdriver. I've been using these screwdrivers for a long time, forever, and I bought this, and honestly it's worth every dime. Okay, a lot of time saving for small screws like this. So just barely tight, so it's like this. I can move it from side to side, okay, because the holes are oval. To adjust it, you're gonna just not even hand tight, just put in there. Do the same thing on the other side. So now that this is done, okay, you can see through this bracket and the other bracket. That's where this pin comes in. Okay, so you're gonna have to make yourself a pin like this. So it's not complicated. It's 4mm thick. put it in this hole in the first bracket. Align your cylinder, your actuator, whatever. Put it through the cylinder. It's really snug, tight fit, so it's good. Boom, like this. Now it's there, it's secured, and I have another hole here to put another cotter pin so it doesn't go nowhere. Now this is done, okay? That's good. And then you take this part here and you simply, basically it almost clips there. You just put the N20 motor like this. Then, oh yeah, on the bumper, the rear bumper, you can have 4 bolts, 2 on each side, 2 there, 2 on the other side. What you're gonna do is you're gonna remove the front one on both sides, and now this gives you a swivel. So this is gonna be the swivel for the tilt, okay? Then you're gonna take this part, you're gonna glue it right here. This is separated. When you're gonna print it, it's gonna be printed separately. So you're gonna glue it on this with super glue. And I didn't make any measure, like any notch, anything obvious to know where it goes. But I tell you right now that from these tiny holes right here, the center of those holes to the center of this hole down here, it's exactly 127 millimeters. So if you do this and you center it like this, it's centered, it's going to be perfect. So just do this, okay? Here I went a little bit too fast and I stuck the rail on the bed before even making these 2 holes to bolt this in. So it's important that you do this before sticking it to the bed, okay? So this thing here, it comes with the lead screw, okay? And this here is, it used to be circular with 3 holes, one there, and this one. But what we want is 2 holes aligning like this. So what you do is you drill this one that already exists a little bit bigger, 1/8 drill bit, and then you drill another hole here symmetrical to this one, okay, like this. And then you cut these 2 sides flat so they line up with this here in the bottom, just like that, okay? So then this brass thing fits perfectly in this hole, okay? So it's a press fit, okay, just like this. You make sure it's straight. Make sure this is flat with this. I'm just gonna pry it a little bit. Like this, okay? But now to make the 2 holes to insert the screws, I'm gonna remove this just to show you. So now to make the 2 holes, since you're screwing into plastic, 3D printed plastic, you're gonna make the holes a little bit smaller than the screw. The screw I'm using is 3 millimeters thick, so M3. So I'm using a bit that is 7/64 inch bit, which is a tiny bit smaller than this, which makes it snug and makes it threads, makes its own threads. I forgot to mention, when you're going to be printing this, you're gonna have it laying flat like this on the printer. It's gonna print like this upwards. Okay, and this part you're gonna have to print it standing up, so printing from bottom going up like this. The reason for that is because you want the hole to be perfectly circle all the way through, and if you print it flat on the ground and going up, usually the hole is gonna have a flat spot, and that is not good. So try printing it this way, only for this part. When you are going to stick this on the bed, be sure to put it the right side, like the big hole on this end on the front, the two holes here in the back. Okay, and also the lead screw, you're gonna have to cut it the right length, and this is 192 millimeters. 192 millimeters. Just barely tighten them with your hand. Don't need to be tight, because it's not the type of screw that's gonna unloose itself. If you just hand tight it just a little bit, it's never gonna move, and you don't want to strip the plastic by screwing it for nothing. You see? So this is what it's gonna look like. Okay, but if you do this with the slider off of the bed, it's gonna be 1,000 times easier. To place the rail at the right place, from the edge here to there, it's 71 millimeters. Okay, and this part is centered on the bed. Simple as that. Now what you're gonna do, mine are already done, the two holes, but you're gonna have to make these. It's very simple. You align these holes, you take a drill bit the same size of this hole, and you just drill through right here and right there. Okay, it's gonna look like this. Before you can screw the rail to the truck like this, you're going to trim the bolts that hold the suspension. You're gonna trim them flush on all four corners. Okay, because the rail fits perfectly flush in the frame. Okay, you can use a wheel grinder or Dremel, whatever. Just be careful not to damage the rest. So to install the bed, now first thing, you're gonna put in the lead screw. And also, when you're gonna slide this like this, it has to reach the bottom. It's important that it goes all the way down to the bottom. If it's like this, okay, if it hits like this and it doesn't go further than that, it's because you need to file down the side of this brass piece on both sides, just a little bit on both sides, and it's gonna clear, and then it's gonna go on the all the way to the bottom. Okay, so you take the slider, the rail, take the motor, put it like this. Okay, then you take the adapter, make sure the screws are loose, so it fits on the motor shaft. Okay, hold it like this, slide it in a little bit, you flip it around, and you slide it until it goes in the adapter. Make sure the screws are loose so that the lead screw goes all the way down. Okay, like this. Now it's all the way down. Perfect. And when you screw the adapter to the motor shaft, make sure the screw goes on the flat spot of the motor shaft. Okay, there's a little flat spot. Make sure the screw aligns with this. Okay, just a little bit tight. Get hand tight on one side. You flip it around. And tight the other side. Like this. Same thing with the lead screw. Now, you're gonna have to plug your meat's already all plugged in, but you temporarily plug a battery on your motor so that you can make it spin and take its position. Okay, and at the same time you're gonna see if the screw in the motor are wobbling or if they're straight. Okay, in my case it's pretty straight. You look on the other side and make sure it bottoms out like this. See? Now, once the rail is bottomed out, the holes are going to align with these holes. That's when you take your M2 by 8 screws and you screw them through the bed. Of course, these screwdrivers still have their place because with the electric one right now I can't do this specifically because it's not deep enough. So yeah, they're still handy. Like this. Now the two screws are showing on this side. Now that's when you align them with these two holes here on the bumper. You align them with these holes and you start screwing them in. Now what I do is I screw one at a time, a little bit on one, a little bit on the other side to make it go like straight down, not all crooked. And when it hits the bottom, you just tie it a little bit with your hand and that's it. Just like that. Okay, now time to put the cylinder in place. It's very simple. You just line this and put a screw in this hole. Now the screw I used is not long enough to put a nut on the other side, unfortunately. But since the hole in the plastic is a little bit smaller than the screw, it kind of makes its own threads. So I think it's good like this. I haven't had any problem with it yet. So this is pretty much all there is for the mechanical part of the build. Now the only thing left is to adjust the cylinder bracket. It's still loose, and we're gonna adjust it by tightening the screws here. Now how I do it is I start by lowering the bed. Okay, once the bed is all the way down, if you continue pressing on it, you're going to see the bracket here go forward. Like this. Okay, so they move back and then they move forward, as you can see. So what you do is you want the bed to be sitting down just tight enough, but not too tight, and you obviously don't want it to have some slack, some loose once you're done. So now it's up to you to find the right spot where to tighten your screws here. So for the electronic part of the build, this truck has a 6-channel receiver, and by adding those 2 channels you're gonna run out. So technically with this receiver it doesn't work for this mod. So what I did is basically I added a complete independent receiver and transmitter. So this is a 4-channel receiver and transmitter on Amazon, and here it is. Here's the receiver in the truck on the roof. I wired it to the one of the 2 channels on the motor, and the other one on the actuator. In the transmitter, in the handle, there is the other small transmitter that transmits signal to this receiver. So how I made this work is I put a switch here. When I turn on the switch, the transmitter in there turns on independently from this transmitter. It's connected with 2 AA batteries. From the 4 batteries they are, I only wired 2 of them to this switch, to the transmitter. So when I turn this on and this is plugged in, the receiver has power, it will function even though the main transmitter is turned off. So when I'm done, I have to turn both of these off. Okay, so I have these 2 buttons, these 2 switch I installed here. On the little square transmitter you have 4 buttons, but I rewired these buttons to work with these switches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is how it works. And also I changed the battery for a bigger amperage than stock, but it has the same voltage. Okay, same voltage, and the actuator on the truck is meant for 12 volt, but it just happens that when you put 7.4 volts in it, it's still powerful enough, like way powerful enough. You don't need more. It has a lot of torque. It's very good for the application. And also I think that it gives it a more realistic tilting speed with less voltage. So I think it's really good. And also, what is very nice with this build is that you can tilt it until the rear wheels come off the ground. Okay, so you're not gonna run out of tilt, and it goes pretty far back. So that is very nice. And you can also actuate both at the same time, no problem. But I saw on YouTube another way to do this is you remove the receiver, you buy another transmitter with a new receiver with more channels on it, you rewire the whole thing, and it's gonna work like that. But there are also plugs for all the lights. So to control the lights, you're gonna have to also buy a little light kit with your new receiver. So it's not, it's a little bit more simple maybe, but it's a lot more expensive. You're gonna have to buy another transmitter. That's the way I thought it was gonna be the best, and I'm pretty satisfied. Okay, so I know this video lasted like 40 something minutes because all my explanation and my bad English and all, but actually this build is very simple, and you should not be intimidated by doing it if you really want to have this rollback option on your truck, which I think is very great. Okay, because it's very simple. I've been through a lot of details, but it's actually very simple. There's nothing complicated about this. Once you have the parts, you bought the parts, and you have the 3 printed parts and all, it's gonna slap all in, and like in less than a day, a couple hours, you're gonna be done. Okay, so I'm gonna go through real quick what we did, basically a recap. So first thing, you remove the bed, cut the wires, remove the bed, put the jigs here to make the 2 holes for the bracket, make the 2 holes, remove the jigs, put the brackets in, okay, and with the pin, and you can install the cylinder, the actuator. Then next you have the lead screw with the brass thingy. This might be the most, the most complicated part, or the most time consuming part to install, but it's actually very simple and straightforward. Okay, so you screw this brass part on your slider, then you screw in the lead screw, you put the N20 motor in place, you put the adapter, okay, and then once this is all done, you put the bed together and you screw it on the truck. So very straightforward build. Then you remove the 2 screws in the back to make it swivel. You remove the center sway bar, which is this, and this is going to create the hole here, the bigger hole right there. Okay, and the reason for this is because the cylinder would hit on it. If it was still there, the cylinder couldn't go down. Okay, which it honestly doesn't matter because it's stable as it is. And what else? And then you have to install the receiver and transmitter like I did, or you can buy another transmitter. It's up to you. And then that's pretty much it. You put the wiring just like I mentioned, and that's all there is to it. Yep, that's it. So if you have questions, let me know in the comments, and if any of you are interested in doing it, let me know. I'm gonna put a link for the 3D printed parts in the description. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.